my name is Outsider2522 and welcome to another Yeager video. Hey guys, today we're going to do a bit of a retainer update video. A lot of people have been asking about it. First thing I want to say is thanks very much for watching the video. I'd really appreciate if you subscribe. 90% of people who watch my content don't subscribe. I need you guys. We want to make this grow, make this channel good, share the good knowledge. Little disclaimer about retainers. There's been some misconceptions going on around about how they work. So the first ability on a retainer is the active skill. Second one is passive, and the third one is passive stats that you will unlock no matter what. So as you upgrade your retainer's rank, those passives will automatically unlock for you no matter what. You don't have to have the retainer equipped. Okay, so you can kind of ignore that. So today I'm just going to go through the retainers that are SSR. I'm not going to bother with any below that. There's not been no massive changes, and to be honest, SSR is where people care the most. So let's start with Carp. Probably the most user-friendly for beginners. What does he do? His active skill is that he does damage. He throws a firebomb. It does damage over time. Very good early game, doesn't scale great into late game. His passive is that it gives you an attack percentage increase. Once you upgrade him, he gains poise with it. The poise isn't really important. Max stats, you're going to have attack plus 9%, plus poise. He's a C rank retainer late game. Okay, very, very usable beginning and really, really good for free to play because you're going to get loads of currency to pick him up. But in terms of retainers, he's not as good. Next, we've got our previous king, Xatu. Same thing, he's doing attack damage, which is not important on his active. The thing that is important is that he gives you a damage percentage increase. Okay, the passive is a stacking attack percentage, which when you upgrade, he gains pierce rate. Very, very powerful unit. The passive is an attack buff between 0.6 to 6%, depending on how many times you hit the enemy, and the piercing rate is 6% for 15 seconds. Very, very good unit. Top tier, always recommend him to everyone. He's going in at S rank again. Next we have the Discord bot himself, Lola, guys. Most people know my feelings on this guy. I don't even feel like I need to go into it. He gives you an attack buff when he's active, he gives you a heal, and he gives you a defense and poise. You don't want to run him when you're active. He's not good. The attack buff, kind of, but you have to go and pick it up, so it's a bit finicky to go and get. There are much better actives to use. Passive removes debuffs and grants immunity every 20 seconds. Really not good. D tier. D tier. Gigadma, the big burb. Big burb. Okay, so his active is that he does damage and stagger to begin with. Once you upgrade him, he gets an attack buff added. Now that changes him very, very much. The passive for him is attack plus, which is a flat attack plus. Now this is really, really good early game, really, really bad late game because it doesn't scale. When you upgrade him, his passive gets an attack percentage increase, which is nice. So the active, if you have him as 1 star, his active is not good. If you can get his first ability up to 2 stars, his active becomes very good. When he's upgraded, he becomes an S rank because he can give you up to 30% attack increase. If you've seen my video where I said I was wrong and Aid corrected me, attack buffs are huge in this game. His passive actually lets him down. So I probably would never run him as a support class. He'd only ever go as a main, as an active. And the reason is his upgraded passive is attack plus 400, which is flat, and then attack percentage of 4%. The attack percentage is really low, and again the 400 doesn't scale. So him as a support retainer is really bad, but the active brings him up at an S rank just because of how strong it is. Bomber Boom. Okay, his active does damage. It's not the best damage, but it's there. Passive gives you an attack and defense percentage increase when damaged. Okay, you don't really want to be taking damage, so it's not very good. When you upgrade it, you get that buff when you do critical damage, which makes it a lot nicer. The attack is 6%, defense is 6%. They're not great values. The active is bad. It's a C tier retainer. Sheikah, active skill similar to everyone else, is just doing damage. It's not bringing a lot to the table. When you upgrade it, it increases your attack percentage, similar to Gigadma. Now remember, that was very, very strong for Gigadma, so let's see how it plays out. The passive is an attack percentage. It's good, but when you upgrade her, you then get pierce rate whenever there's a critical or trauma strike. That's huge. So with a max upgrade, you're getting a passive of attack plus 8% and pierce rate plus 3% for 16 seconds whenever you trauma or crit, plus the active giving you that attack plus 30%. Sheikah's an S tier retainer. She's got to be. She's doing at least what Gigadma's doing and more. Binam. So the active is damage plus trauma. When you upgrade, the active also gives you trauma rate percentage when your HP is greater than 50%, so increases your damage. Otherwise, if you're less than 50%, it gives you lifesteal to help with your health, which is a nice little added bonus. The passive is that trauma rate. You gain trauma rate on weakness hit. You should always aim for weaknesses, so it just makes sense. You're going to get trauma on there. The upgrade increases your trauma damage when you have max stacks of the passive. So her kit works quite nicely well together. At max upgrade, her trauma rate goes from between 0.6 to 9% because it stacks up to 15 hits, and the trauma damage increase is 20%. It's a very, very solid set of skills. It's in trauma, which isn't my favourite stat in the game, so I'm going to put her in at an A class. Very usable. Even the active's good, especially if you're a new player. That lifesteal can come in pretty cinch. Faramlina, her active is that she does damage. Again, there's nothing exciting there. Her passive is that she gives you a shield if there's no damage. That's not good. When you upgrade her, she gets an attack plus on her passive, which makes her much more usable. The shield is 24% of your max HP. The attack buff maxes out at 12%. It's not great. It's very, very low for what it is. She's a C tier retainer. Inam. So the active is that she does damage. Very, very standard. I'm not going to go into damage numbers because they're not important. It falls off massively later on. Retainers don't do a lot of damage. Her passive is that she increases attack percent and lifesteal on damage. You're going to be activating this all the time. Upgrade the passive. Passive works on. Whenever you take damage. The upgrade is that the passive works when you hit a trauma proc, and it maxes out at attack plus 9%, lifesteal plus 9%. Now, the fact you have to upgrade her to get the trauma proc, its attack and lifesteal, the numbers aren't massively high. She's usable, again, very, very good if you're struggling with survivability, but in terms of the late game sort of meta, which is damage, she's a B rank. Hela. A lot of people like her. Her active is that she heals. Her passive is that she'll revive you every so often. We're in a damage meta. She's C tier. Beginners might use her. I recommend not using her because it's going to make you lazy. Learn how to dodge instead and you won't need her. Yeah, she's not in a good place. They should really give her some sort of buff. And the final SSR retainer we got is Decaller. She's one of the new additions. Her active is that she does damage and she creates a circle, which if you're inside it, you get crit rate. It's very, very interesting and a good skill. This can be upgraded so that if you leave her circle, so you don't have to stand next to her, you still maintain your crit rate for a certain amount of time afterwards, which is very valuable. The crit rate for that maxes out at 10%, which is a big chunk of change that can do a bit of extra damage. The passive is crit rate on hit, which is great. You're going to be hitting all the time. Upgrade increases your pierce rate on crit. So you're going to increase your crit rate every time you hit, and then when you crit, which obviously you've now got the increased rate for, you're then going to get pierce rate. The crit rate goes between 2 to 30%. It scales up every second, so every second it adds another 2% onto it for 15 seconds, and the pierce rate is 8%. It's a very, very strong retainer going in at S rank. So that's my thoughts and feelings on the retainers. Obviously, it is just my personal opinion. You may see things differently, but we have got a lot of difference at the top because now we've got quite a few retainers who come in at that S rank, which means you've got opportunities and different options available to you. If you've got any questions about it, any comments you want to make, maybe you disagree, let me know in the comments below. If you like what you see, share, subscribe, comment, you know, all that good stuff. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time, take care.